the amount of mass being lost over a period of a month by this network of jets is of order 50 billion tons.
The winter sky should have been silent, empty, predictable. Instead, a piercing cyan-green glow erupts across the darkness without warning, cutting through the cold night like a flare meant for someone watching. Scientists freeze as alerts cascade through observatories. 3I Atlas has resurfaced, but not as the comet they tracked months ago. The light is sharper, louder, almost intentional. And the moment telescopes lock onto it, one truth spreads through control rooms. Something about the comet has changed. Its coma shouldn't be this bright. Cyanide emissions have always been faint, barely visible. Yet now the glow is so strong, it stains the desert horizons with an eerie green haze. Astrophysicists scan the first frames and immediately notice something worse. The brightness is not stable. It flickers. It pulses. It behaves less like gas escaping a rock and more like a signal trying to be seen. Panic grows in the scientific community as side-by-side comparisons show the impossible. The coma is thicker, more symmetrical, almost reinforced, as if the sun didn't burn this object during its hidden passage, but altered it, or shielded it, or awakened something inside it. Then the brightness spikes begin, violent, razor-sharp flashes lasting only seconds before dropping to nothing. No natural comet behaves like this. The irregular pulses match no model, no solar wind pattern, no chemical explanation on record. It forces experts to consider a terrifying possibility. 3I Atlas is responding to something Earth cannot detect. Around the world, observatories abandon their normal schedules. Cameras run non-stop. Data streams in real time. Analysts watch every frame, knowing the anomaly is escalating by the hour. The glow grows stronger whenever the comet rotates toward Earth, as though the object notices the planet, as if it is aware of the alignment. Spectral graphs turn red with warnings as the cyanide signature surges far beyond expected levels. What should be a faint chemical footprint now behaves like a beam, sharpening, intensifying, pointing. Scientists brace for the coming nights, whispering questions they're afraid to say aloud. Is the comet reacting? Is it transforming? Or is this glow a message humanity was never meant to receive? Whatever the truth is, the green beacon is brightening, tightening, and moving toward its next phase. The warning signs begin the instant 3I Atlas slips out from behind the sun. Astronomers across the world freeze as the first post-perihelion coordinates appear on their screens. The comet's trajectory isn't just stable, it's too perfect. As if something corrected its path while it was hidden in the solar glare. This isn't the wobble-filled return scientists expected after such brutal heat exposure. Instead, the new orbit looks clean, deliberate, almost guided. Then the shapeshift hits. High-resolution comparisons reveal that the comet's coma has subtly changed, not softened. Before the sun encounter, the halo looked uneven, typical of an object shedding gas randomly. But now, the glow forms a smooth symmetry, a reorganized shell that makes no sense for a body battered by extreme solar radiation. Astronomers in Egypt capture it first. A gas halo forming a pattern too orderly for nature, like something inside the nucleus reshaped its outer envelope. As more telescopes join the observation, the anomalies multiply. Long exposure stacks reveal thin, whisper-like filaments stretching from the nucleus, structures that didn't exist before autumn. These features don't behave like dust. They don't bend like they're pushed by solar wind. They don't match any textbook model. In private calls, researchers admit the truth they don't dare publish. The comet looks like it has reorganized itself. One scientist asks the question everyone else is too afraid to voice: did the sun activate something inside it? No one laughs, because no one has an answer. While the public admires the glowing emerald streak in the sky, believing nothing is wrong, the scientific world enters quiet panic mode. Teams stop sleeping. Observatories run continuous tracking. Data centers light up with emergency alerts. Everyone is waiting for the next change, and they don't have to wait long. Just before dawn, a new set of frames arrives. In them, 3I Atlas's reflective profile shifts again. Not randomly, not due to rotation. Something on the comet evolves between exposures, like its surface is rearranging itself in real time. Shock ripples through the community. This isn't a dying comet. This is an active transformation. And the most terrifying part? Earth has no idea what it's changing into, or why, or what happens when it finishes. And as the next phase begins, the evolution accelerates. The alarm begins on a cold winter night when amateur astrophotographers start stacking their hour-long exposures and notice something that should be impossible. The inside of 3I Atlas is moving, not spinning, not expanding, drifting. A slow, almost hesitant slide of the nucleus inside its own glowing coma, as if the core is no longer fixed to its center of mass. Within minutes, screenshots spread through private astronomy forums, and orbital modelers across Europe and Japan jump into emergency calls. If the nucleus is drifting like a loose object inside a shell, then 3I Atlas may not be a single body at all. It may be splitting, hollow, or worse, concealing something inside. Speculation turns dark almost instantly. Some scientists fear a fractured core, a sign of imminent breakage. Others whisper about something far stranger, a binary nucleus, two separate objects orbiting each other beneath the green haze, hidden from space telescopes that only see the combined blur. But no one wants to say it out loud. If the center is drifting, something inside that comet is actively changing position. Then comes the detail that pushes the scientific community into full panic. Astrophotographers begin noticing small flickers in the coma, flashes so precise, so evenly timed, they look like pulses. At first they seem random, but after running the frames again and again, the timing lines up. Each pulse comes at exact intervals, as though the comet is beating like a heart. High-resolution desert images make everything worse. They reveal razor-thin radial streaks, delicate lines pointing outward from the hidden nucleus. They don't match dust jets, they don't match outgassing physics, and they don't appear in any space-based imaging. This means one thing: Earth's atmosphere is revealing something the satellites can't see, something angle-dependent, something that might vanish if the Earth rotates just a little too far. Terrified of losing the anomaly, observatories across the world rush to replicate the frames before sunrise. Photographers wake entire teams, desperately capturing time-lapse exposures like evidence of a crime that might erase itself at dawn. No one knows if the pulsing, drifting, shifting interior will still be there tomorrow. And then the twist hits. Within 24 hours, every continent reports the same pulse frequency, the same drifting core, the same impossible streaks. The behavior is global, consistent, coordinated. 3I Atlas is no longer behaving like an inert comet. It is behaving like a system, dynamic, evolving, responsive. And as scientists brace for the next night's images, one fear spreads through every control room on Earth. If it's changing this quickly, what is it changing into next? It begins with a single photograph, a quiet frame taken in the freezing silence of Egypt's Black Desert. But the moment scientists enhance it, the entire astronomy community stops breathing. Osama Fati's image, once praised only for its beauty, suddenly turns into a scientific emergency. Under magnification, a faint, curved imprint appears inside the cyan-green haze of 3I Atlas's coma. At first, researchers assume it's noise, a digital artifact, a trick of the desert atmosphere, but the arc repeats and repeats and repeats again. A symmetrical wave, perfectly spaced, perfectly shaped, ripples outward as if the comet is releasing gas not in chaotic bursts like every known comet, but in timed intervals, almost like a heartbeat. No comet in recorded history has ever shown behavior this orderly, this controlled, this intentional. Teams across observatories panic as they stack Fadi's 120 exposures frame by frame. Instead of disappearing, the pattern grows sharper. The arcs align too cleanly, too consistently to be natural randomness. It is as if something inside the comet is rotating in cycles, pushing out material with mechanical precision. Some experts whisper the unthinkable: layered internal structure, or worse, a process. As the data spreads, fear starts to ripple through the scientific community. If the wave is stable, then 3I Atlas isn't reacting to sunlight by accident. It is repeating a behavior, producing the same shape again and again, almost like a signal that resets every few hours. Something inside it is doing this on purpose, or at least by the rules no one on Earth understands. Space agencies from 3 continents quietly contact Fati, requesting his raw files before the public realizes what he captured. Their own satellites, costing billions, somehow miss this symmetrical phenomenon entirely. The embarrassment turns into dread when enhanced images from the U.S. Southwest, the Chilean Atacama, and the Kazakh steppe all show the exact same arc in the exact same position at the exact same moment in time. Across the planet, independent observers have unknowingly caught pieces of the same hidden rhythm. The warning signs begin with a single graph, a faint spike most researchers assume is noise, until the next night, when the spike grows sharper, taller, and unmistakably real. The cyanide glow around 3I Atlas isn't just brightening, it's aiming. Every time the comet rotates into a position even loosely aligned with Earth, its cyan-green halo pulses with a sudden, unnatural surge of light. It behaves less like chemistry and more like a reaction. Spectral teams across Europe go silent as they compare results. The emissions don't rise randomly. They rise in direction-specific bursts, something no comet has ever done. It's as if the cyanide itself is reorganizing inside the coma, shifting from place to place like a living system adjusting to a target. Astrobiologists stare at the readings with the kind of tension usually reserved for impact warnings. If the distribution is changing, then something inside the nucleus is changing too. Some scientists whisper the first forbidden question: is the comet responding to sunlight differently now, or is it responding to Earth? The idea sounds impossible, but the data keeps pointing in the same terrifying direction. Models predict the cyanide glow should peak deep in winter, yet the curve is rising weeks too early and far too fast. The intensification rate has doubled, then tripled, breaking every forecast. Observatories expected a slow chemical burn. Instead, they're watching an accelerating reaction like something ignited inside the nucleus during its close pass with the sun and is now building toward an unknown threshold. To the public, the comet is simply the green visitor lighting up the sky. Photographers post stunning pictures, news anchors call it beautiful, and social media explodes with admiration. But behind closed doors, researchers use a different word: unstable. The glow flickers with inconsistencies that shouldn't exist. Small jumps in brightness that last only milliseconds yet appear across multiple instruments. Then comes the twist that forces every observatory to issue a midnight alert. The cyanide emission doesn't just spike, it surges in a perfect upward curve, as if the comet has entered a new phase, an accelerating chemical state that scientists cannot model, because nothing in cometary physics works this way. It looks less like a comet evolving and more like one activating. Experts now fear the glow is not cosmetic, not a pretty side effect, but a visible sign of an internal transformation already unfolding. Something inside 3I Atlas is changing, fast, and pointing straight at Earth every time it does. And what happens next will be far stranger. Something is happening to 3I Atlas that no one on Earth was prepared for. Astronomers stare at the newest data in disbelief as the comet changes faster than their computers can even simulate. They know one terrifying truth: this object will never come back. Whatever it is doing now, every flicker, every pulse, every chemical shift must be understood now, or humanity will lose the answers forever. Its coma no longer behaves like a cloud of dust and gas. In some regions, the glow sharpens into blade-like edges, as if the material is being pulled into order by a force no one can identify. In others, it dissolves into thin, ghost-like haze, vanishing faster than physics allows. The contrast grows each night, hinting at volatile compounds that have never been observed in any solar system comet. Researchers whisper about unstable interstellar materials reacting violently to Earth's radiation environment, decomposing into something unpredictable. Then the micro-brightening begins. Telescopes around the world detect flashes, tiny, razor-fast bursts of light that last less than a second. These aren't random sparkles. They look like micro-explosions erupting from inside the nucleus. Orbital physicists warn that such bursts could shift the comet's path without warning. Electromagnetic specialists step in next, arguing that the patterns resemble magnetic disturbances far too strong for an ordinary comet. Something inside 3I Atlas might be interacting with the sun's field, or generating its own. But the most unsettling discoveries aren't coming from billion-dollar space agencies. They're coming from ordinary people. Amateur sky watchers across Egypt, Chile, Finland, Japan, everywhere capture impossible details, sharp glints that rotate, streaks of color that appear only from certain angles, shadows moving inside the coma. Professionals can't dismiss these anymore. Too many videos match, too many patterns repeat. Whatever 3I Atlas is doing, the whole world is seeing it evolve in real time, like a system adjusting itself as it travels, and then the twist hits. If 3I Atlas keeps changing at this pace, it will leave the solar system in a different condition than when it entered. It will shed materials, reorganize its structure, maybe even activate processes no one has ever imagined. Scientists don't know what they are witnessing: a natural breakdown, a cosmic transformation, or something quietly waking up after it's passed by the sun. But the clock is collapsing fast. Each night, the comet moves farther away. Each anomaly could be the last clue we ever get. Once 3I Atlas slips back into the deep interstellar dark, its secrets will vanish with it, and humanity may never face anything like this again. And just as astronomers think they've seen its final trick,